we are back. And man, listen. I want to make sure my mic is nice. Man, we got Penn State and them talking about running the trap house. So we got two fraternities at Penn State running the trap house, and they had the pledges bagging up the work. I'm not playing. So we're going to play a couple of these news stories because I also want you to peep how they announced said trap house. I'm Jay Lava. I scour the internet so that you don't have to. So let's get into this Penn State trap house drama. For sure.
Penn State University are at the center of a highly profitable cocaine ring, according to state prosecutors, who say the drugs were cut and packaged right there in the frat houses, sometimes by pledges. Among those charged, 13 current and former students and one student's father. More now from CBS's Michael George.
Investigators say all but one of the 14 charged were Penn State students at the time of the alleged criminal conduct. Pennsylvania's Attorney General Dave Sunday says the drug operation was run inside two fraternity houses in 2023 and 2024.
Cocaine was primarily packaged at the fraternity houses, and in fact, we found a pattern of events that showed cutting and bagging cocaine was, for some pledges, an indoctrination into the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities.
Authorities say the two main dealers were senior members of the fraternities.
Agostino Abatiello was at the very top of the chain. Thomas Robinson was a rung below that on the ladder.
According to the criminal complaint, the drugs were sold at parties and other college social events. One defendant is accused of buying more than 5 pounds of cocaine in a 9-month period. 6 defendants are facing felony charges. 8 others are charged with misdemeanors. Penn State says it's placing Delta Upsilon on interim suspension pending an investigation. It says Sigma Chi isn't recognized by the university.
The packaging happened at off-campus fraternity houses.
And there was one non-student charged. Paul Robinson, the father of one of the suspects. Authorities say he concealed evidence, including a safe containing drugs and cash. Tony?
Michael George, thank you.
So hold on, y'all. Y'all know how propaganda work, right? So I'm gonna show y'all a couple different ways on how they choose to cover said goings-ons. But let's take it so we can get like the whole breakdown of the details. We're gonna let the Attorney General bust it down real quick.
And we're here in State College today to announce charges against more than a dozen individuals in connection with a drug trafficking operation revolving around a pair of fraternities for Penn State University students. All but one of the charged defendants were Penn State University students at or around the time of this alleged criminal conduct. These charges were the result of a long-term investigation between the Office of Attorney General, Bureau of Narcotics Investigation, State College Police Department, and a pair of statewide investigating grand juries impaneled by my office.
Flex, that's
what we
next.
learned during this investigation was that between 2023 and 2024, large amounts of cocaine, kilos, were brought from Philadelphia and New York to State College, where they were cut and packaged for sale primarily to Penn State students. The two main dealers, the top of the chain, if you will, were senior members of the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities. Agostino Abatiello was at the very top of the chain. Thomas Robinson was a rung below that on the ladder. And this poster here shows Operation Drugs Unlimited, and it shows the hierarchy of the organization. The evidence presented to the grand jury led to a recent presentment and recommendation of charges against 14 defendants. The evidence showed that cocaine was primarily packaged at the fraternity houses and that packaging was done by fraternity brothers and oftentimes pledges. In fact, we found a pattern of events that showed cutting and bagging cocaine was, for some pledges, an indoctrination into the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities.
What?
Before I get into further details on the investigation and conduct, let me tell you about the charges. And I want to emphasize that all of these individuals are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. Agostino Abatiello, Thomas Robinson, and two others, Mohammed Harabi and Lars Ziepfat, are charged with felony corrupt organizations.
Trina, what up?
Because this was a coordinated and organized cocaine trafficking operation with regular trips to those source cities and large amounts of cocaine being brought back to these fraternities.
Not them getting it off in the trap. Not them doubling up the re-up. I'm just waiting to hear thugs and all of this. I'm just waiting for all of that.
They are also charged with conspiracy, dealing in proceeds of unlawful activity, and related offenses. A fifth person, Robert Zanola, is charged with felony conspiracy and criminal use of communication facility
Whipping that
and
work.
related misdemeanors. These are the 5 primary dealers. The 8 other student-age defendants in this case have been charged with misdemeanor counts of drug possession and paraphernalia.
He was
The
big
only
dog.
non-student charge is Thomas Robinson's father, Paul Robinson, who we allege took steps to conceal evidence, including a safe containing drugs and cash, and obstruct this investigation. All are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. I know there may
They
be
play a
many
Pusha
questions
T.
about the university in regards to these students and this conduct. This is very serious
OT
criminal
Genesis.
conduct. There was nothing junior or childlike about this type of conduct.
Exactly.
This was an upper-level trafficking organization for this region in Pennsylvania.
Whipping that work.
In fact, multiple witnesses who testified in front of the grand jury referred to Abatiello as the largest dealer of cocaine for Penn State University students.
The kingpin.
Regarding the university's knowledge or actions in response to this conduct, in consideration of the confidential nature of the grand jury proceedings and ongoing active prosecutions, I can say this. We did not hear of any drug packaging happening on Penn State's campus. Again, the packaging happened at off-campus fraternity houses.
What?
And the actual drug dealing was largely from friend to friend, fraternity brother to fraternity brother, acquaintance to acquaintance, and at fraternity houses and or during parties or
Boy, I know you ain't finished trying to sit up here and absolve the college. You know that none of that take place on the college now. Just so we know, they were selling all the drugs in the city, but none of it got sold on the college. Now, it was outside at their little apartments and stuff, but nothing on the college. Well, you better shut up.
social engagements.
What are you talking about?
With regard to parents that might be watching this and thinking about what's happening at the school, I just want to say this.
Yeah, it was happening at the school, fool. What are you talking about? They finna try to sit up here in our face, play in our face, like they wasn't booming at school, like they had a locker room rocking, like they had a. I mean, come on, man. They probably had teachers on deck and everything. That's why they trying to move it away from the school. Let you know now. I showed you it wasn't on the school property. It was everywhere else, all across the city, but not on the school. I'm trying to tell you. Boy, get out of here. Who you think you fooling?
There is no city, county, community that exists that doesn't have to deal with issues such as drug use, drug dealing, addiction.
Oh, wait a minute. Now you finna try to minimize it? Let this been any black fraternity, Q Dogs. Let this have been, man, are you Scanerius Von Serious? Every community got a drill with. If this was the black fraternities, two black fraternities, if it was two black fraternities, you would see them doing the perp walk with the hands behind their back, with the handcuffs. They'd have the canes and all. They'd be showing footage of them doing the little thing and stuff. They'd be showing the little dudes doing the little things and walking out the frat house looking like Nino Brown. Man, I don't want to hear this crap. I don't want to hear none of this. I need the same treatment. I'm just saying keep it consistent. If you're going to do one for the other, do one for the other. And they get to get you see they thumb. Did you see they pictures and all? They was all suited and booted. Swear to God, best believe if it was Alpha Q Dogs or whatever it was, they would have had mugshots from unrelated crimes up. They would have been showing videos of Stomp the Yard, talking to, and then they would have been playing OT Genesis Push It behind the broadcast. They would have gave OT Genesis some money just to play that during the broadcast to show how these black frats were the scourge of the community. And see, this why college students can't learn, because the black frat is pushing the dope on the community, and the campus is running rampant with these Negroes selling cocaine. Everybody has to deal with some drugs in their community. It's not that big of a deal. It's just, two, frats. Boys will be boys, It's not that big of a deal. This what's wrong with y'all. Every time something happened on y'all side, here goes somebody out here to skip and make up and take up and minimize. That's why y'all don't never learn your lesson, because y'all never get your ass whooped. That's what a lot of y'all suffering from. A lack of ass whoopings when you was coming up. Nobody really tapped your ass, and that's why you act like you act. That's your problem. While you was in your room playing D&D and building all type of madness and doing all type of madness, Mom, this is my personal space, Mom. Get out of here. That's your problem. These is the dweebs. Y'all see them? Did y'all hold on? I hope we got to go back to what them dudes look like. Are you Scanerius? John Picaterius. These are some dweebs. Hold on, look at them. Look at these dudes. Look at them dweebs. So you telling me, because you can't have it both ways, right? You can't lionize these dudes in the news post at the same time. They had keys, right? They were flipping keys and even had the shorties bagging it up. But nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew where everybody was getting high from. How come it's when the black people in the spot, black frats don't do that. Black frats can't do this. This can't even be a black frat. They would have been gone. How did they move up to Keys and have it so tight that now they getting a frat, they pledgees to bag up for them? They was getting it in. Did nobody know where the coke came from? See, what happened was they didn't cut somebody in. They didn't cut somebody in. Somebody got mad and told it because they ain't get their little. That's what happened. Mm-hmm. Really? But we ain't talking about all around the world in the country though. We talking about Penn State and the two dudes. Come on, cuz. Hold on, y'all couldn't even hear that. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this, y'all.
This is something that occurs all throughout our country and all throughout the world. And that being said, we take it very, very seriously, which is why we conducted this investigation.
You don't try to minimize with all around the country and all around the world, boys and girls, Chevys and twirls. Come on, man. Come on, bro. We ain't talking about that. We talking about Penn State and Brad and them taking over the Carter. That's what we talking about. Hey, I think you're right though. Flexions. Let's not act like who the plug is. Let's not act like we don't know who the plug is. Cause it ain't the brothers. So what is it? Mexican or is it Asian? It's one of the two. Who the plug? Where they getting the keys from? I'm just asking. From my homeboy. It's only one of the two. Let's not act like we don't know who the plug is. Is we gonna talk about the plug? Since y'all know all of these intricacies of where they was going and how much they was spending and what they was bagging up, do you know who the plug is? Can you tell us who the plug is? You want to talk about the plug? Oh, okay. You don't want to talk about the plug. Okay. All right. Okay.
Going to be ramifications for your actions. And just because you're at college and you're making money and you think that this is something you can get away with, it's not. It's extremely serious. Law enforcement takes it extremely seriously, and we will continue to investigate and prosecute individuals that decide to deal drugs on college campuses.
But you just said that it wasn't on college campuses. So is it on college campuses or not on college campuses? Okay.
So how do we get to this point today? This conduct regards trafficking that happened throughout 2023 and 2024. Law enforcement employed a number of investigative tactics to identify the individuals involved, how they were obtaining the cocaine, and methods of packaging and distribution.
Y'all know it all.
The grand jury presentment recommending charges is available to you as it is the affidavit of probable cause attached to the filed criminal complaints.
Okay.
You will read about the runs to Philadelphia and New York, the large quantities of cocaine that came back from...
Oh, so they was going up north, getting nice, coming back down, busting it down? Flooding the hood? With that Tony Montana? Man. I'm just waiting for Facebook and the internet and all of these places to blow up about these drug running thugs. Just waiting for that. Just waiting for the deebs. Oh, where's the dweebs at? Dweebs don't want to talk about this subject. I ain't seen nobody over there. Don't nobody want to talk about this? That's funny. Where the daily dweebs at? Oh, we ain't talking about black people, huh? We ain't talking about okay. All right, okay. All right, I get it. Okay. Yeah. Y'all ain't seen the dweebs? Where the dweebs at? What? Don't you find that suspicious? So is their job only to disrupt? I mean, is their job only to disrupt us when we, chopping it up and building? This is telling. It's very telling. Uh-oh, there go one. We got one triggered. Jeffrey's triggered. I bought him out. Hey, Jeffrey. Little Jethro. What's going on, bruh? You triggered? He said, the internet, including you, is blowing up with news. What the F are you whining about? Whining? That's what you call it, Jethro? Selective posting. Hey, Scott. You triggered, bro? You just had to say something, huh? Because your folks is out there like that. Your folks is slanging them things, huh? Anybody else want to show themselves? We got two triggered little devils. Little Jethro. Yeah, we got little Jethro. And got a little Scott. Scott sounds like Scott. My name is Scott. Scott, you got some more to say, Scott? Uh-oh, we got another one. Arid Besser. Arid. What's going on, Arid? Arid Besser. Is that your name? Arid. Okay. All right, man. Hold on. Let's hear more about this kingpin, though.
From the sources and the transactions, large and small, that followed. I will note that Thomas Robinson was charged previously as well in December of 2024 with drug dealing. Charges against all 14 defendants were filed this morning. The majority of those with felony charges were arraigned this morning, with the exception of Abatiello, who a warrant has been issued for his arrest.
Is that y'all here? Is that y'all?
I want to conclude by thanking his arrest.
What y'all bet, man, that they finna make a story or something about this. This is gonna be a motion picture film, because they don't get too many notorious, criminals that like in this realm. So is this going to make a Breaking Bad? Is Breaking Penn State or something like that? What's going to come of this? Because you know how they try to glorify their little folks. What's up, Tree? Renee in the place. What's going on? You know how they try to glorify their little peoples. Is this going to be a I would say Lifetime movie, but it ain't no females. But they gonna make something out of this. Like, remember how they had to do White Boy Rick or whatever? This one right here, they're gonna do something about his. He's too nerdy. There has to be a story on how this nerdy kid was the biggest. He was bigger than Frank Lucas. He was bigger. They're gonna be like, man, he had more dope than all of them, bro. He had it sewed up. They finna rally behind this dude. I can see it right now. I can definitely see it right now. Oh, there's a little more though.
I want to conclude by thanking the members of my office, the Office of Attorney General, the agents and the attorneys, and the State College Police Department for their diligent work, their investigation, and the time that they committed to this investigation that we're here to talk about today.
Okay.
I want to thank the grand jurors for their diligence while hearing from the many witnesses who provided testimony and evaluating that testimony before ultimately recommending the charges that we have filed today.
Ivy League edition.
At this time, I will note that this is an ongoing investigation. There are certain secrecy aspects that are still in place. And obviously, with that being said, there are certain things we cannot discuss at this time.
Right.
But to the best of our ability, we will answer the questions that we can.
Okay.
So if anyone has any questions, we will take those questions now.
Do you know if any of them are still Penn State students, or?
As of now, none of them are still. The 14 individuals that we filed charges against, none of which are still Penn State students.
With the charges dating back to 2023 or the investigation, some might ask, why weren't these folks arrested earlier?
Right.
They were doing this amount of drugs.
So the incidents occurred during the course of 2023, 2024, and that's when obviously we then were brought in. Investigations of this nature take time. They're very detailed. And what we wanted to do was make sure that we took the time to arrest all of these individuals so that we could do our best to root out this criminal organization to stop it from being able to continue to deal cocaine in the future.
You said pledges were sometimes made to the package cocaine as part of initiation. Are there going to be any hazing-like charges filed or anything of that nature?
Well, so this goes back to what I mentioned earlier about this is an ongoing investigation. We're here today to discuss the 14 defendants and specifically the drug charges that were filed against them. All right, hearing no further questions, thank you for being here this morning. And again, I want to thank the hard work of the law enforcement agents that worked on this case.
Whatever, they ain't do nothing. They was probably copping it too, allegedly. But listen how they cover it now. This is Fox News, how it happened on Fox News. Because if you notice, they're all different.
A surprising discovery on Penn State's campus. Police say 2 fraternities have been tied to a multi-state drug trafficking ring. As Caroline Elliott reports, more than a dozen arrests have been made, and the investigation is still ongoing.
From frat pledge to possible prison time, Pennsylvania police say fraternities are behind a complex drug trafficking ring at Penn State.
This goes beyond just some students making bad decisions, right? This is a full organized crime enterprise that crosses multiple states.
Prosecutors busted 14 past and current fraternity brothers accused of spending thousands of dollars on cocaine, cutting up the drug, and transporting it to multiple states. Police also found the operation was part of alleged initiation practices done right on campus and the Sigma Chi and Delta Epsilon frat houses.
The evidence showed that cocaine was primarily packaged at the fraternity houses and that packaging was done by fraternity brothers and oftentimes pledges.
Police say these 2 students were at the top of the drug operation that went on for nearly 2 years. Agostino A. Battiello, who became known as the largest cocaine.
Look at that dweeb. And look how they got to describe him. Notice how they lionize him. He was known as the largest cocaine dealer
For Penn State students, and Thomas Robinson, who's
the largest cocaine dealer of Penn State.
Dad also allegedly helped out in the operation. Dad also allegedly the largest cocaine dealer. A. Battiello, who became known as the largest cocaine dealer for Penn State students. And
now hold on. I'm just saying, like, is he the largest cocaine dealer because his name is A. Battiello? Because what about Thomas Robinson? They didn't say that about Thomas Robinson. They didn't say that about Thomas Robinson. I guess Thomas Robinson's just peanuts. I guess he's not the largest cocaine dealer. Nah, not him. He's just a nobody. Not next to Santiago.
Thomas Robinson, whose dad also allegedly helped out in the operation.
The only non-student charge
allegedly helped out. See, they just helped out. They didn't really do what Antebellum did. They didn't do what he did. He did the worst. Let them tell it.
Students and Thomas Robinson, whose dad also allegedly helped out in the operation.
The only non-student charge is Thomas Robinson's father, Paul Robinson, who we allege took steps to conceal evidence, including a safe containing drugs and cash, and obstruct this investigation.
Now, is they just hitting on the high points? You know, he had a safe full of drugs and cash. You know what I'm saying? He had a stash too. The biggest kingpin drug dealer ever in Penn State. That's right. He had a safe full of cash. Boy, that boy was what? So they got to lionize I don't know if y'all be catching that. I'll be reading into it a lot because I know how they get out.
The investigation's ongoing with all 14 suspects facing felony charges. So far, Penn State has suspended at least one of the fraternities tied to the case.
Only one fraternity has been suspended. You see what I mean? Only one. And let me guess. It's the one with the dude with the foreign last name, because I guess they was both representatives of each fraternity. So what they trying to say is that the one with the funny name, he's the one, And the other ones we just not sure about. They helped out a little bit. Okay. Listen to the New York Post.
Penn State pledges were being initiated into their fraternities by cutting and packaging cocaine. That is what Pennsylvania's Attorney General just told the world. Dave Sunday announced charges against 14 people Monday in connection with a large-scale cocaine trafficking ring that operated out of 2 Penn State fraternity houses between 2023 and 2024. 13 of the defendants were Penn State students at the time. The 14th is the father of one student, charged with hiding drugs and cash in a safe to obstruct the investigation. The 2 ringleaders were Agostino Abatiello and Thomas Robinson, both former Penn State students. They made regular trips to Philadelphia and New York to purchase large quantities of cocaine, including up to 1 kilogram at a time for $22,000.
Now that's strange. That's really odd. How everybody know where they was going and what they was copping and how much it was. Y'all don't find that suspicious? I mean, I'm hearing this multiple times from, how they know? I get y'all was doing the investigation and all. So y'all saying y'all had somebody buying it from the frat house, setting them this way up, and then did they buy it from y'all out in New York or out in Philly? Did they buy it from y'all? Because y'all know how much y'all was selling it for? Yeah, but I'm just saying, I know it's an investigation, but what I'm saying is how many sides of the investigation was they on? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. At how many levels? How deep did they infiltrate? Because it sounded real New Jack City-ish to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nino was running the little joint, and then Lil G Money, said that I'm gonna run it one day, and maybe Nino had got with his girl, so G Money got really mad, and then he tried to bring in the other dude, which was the Popo, right? Is this the classic story? And boom, everybody set out. They didn't lost out on the Carter. Dang, they was $22K for 1,000 grams is expensive. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if it's cheaper. Is it cheaper? I don't know. You know the street light, brother. You got me on that one, brother. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know how much the key is. But it's just funny that they know the prices, because what they're saying to me is that somebody within the organization set them up on the Nino Brown side of the game and brought somebody in, talking about, I got the cheaper plug, $22,000. Because they was probably paying more for it than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was probably paying more for it than that. And then somebody was like, "Ooh, I got the 22." They was like, "The 22? Okay." He said, "What is the price? What's the price drop then?" Asking for a friend. What? How much can you get it for then? What's it like out there in the street? How much a key cost? Because Jeezy is Mr. 17.5, right? Is that still what it is? Is it 17.5? Because even in New Jack City, it was 17. That's what Pookie was trying to sell his key for, 17. Come on, man. He was selling his for 17. Yeah, Pookie in New Jack City, that was way back then, it was 17. So you saying out of all the inflation and all of that, a key still that? It ain't went up? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What about the tariffs? What about the tariffs? It ain't more than that. I would think, yeah, I'm thinking with the inflation and the economy and all shit, he should be like 35,000 then, if that's the point, if that's the case, right? 22 is very cheap. That's what I say. If it was 25.5, that's cheap. 2,200 is, well, no, 2,200 is the feds and got them caught up like they caught up right now. That's what 2,200 is. No, 2,200 is what they got caught up with because they were trying to go with the low. I would imagine, and I don't know, but I would imagine like a kid is a lot more than that. Because first of all, ain't nobody even doing it like that no more. And it's harder to do it. I would imagine there's a little bit more tax on there. Yeah, 17.5 if you buying a bunch, I guess, right? I don't know, man. I'm out the loop, brother. I'm speaking on something I don't even know, and I'm just trying to guess and wing it out. But I'm just saying, I'm just using deductive math. If we was watching New Jack City in the 90s and Chris Rock was talking about 17 when he kicked him and ran with the money, because remember Ice-T was trying to get him 16.5. He's like 16.5, flat, straight up like that. He was like, nah, man, how you just whatever. Low in this economy, you might pay 30. That's what I'm saying. I might not know about the street, but I'm just saying, you just got to use common sense. If I have to use a movie reference to do that, then, you know. And then they minimize it too. If it was one key, it was a bunch of keys. These is Penn State College. It was a bunch. They was moving that work. Stop it. And you know, they got boats and all of that. They was probably going to Nicaragua they damn self. 17.5, same color t-shirt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And that all of that stuff is old. You telling me it ain't went up since then? Anyway, I really just wanted to jump in here on some crime real quick and let y'all know that there was some crime going on and we wasn't the perpetrators of it. Really, that was it. That was really my whole purpose, is just show y'all some crime and let you know that the crime was happening. Now, what I'm going to do is, it's 6:25. I'm going to be right back. Probably about like 7. Well, we got this Nolan Wells. We want to go over there. And then I'm going to come back again because we got to do some crime tonight. I ain't do no crime last night. So we got to do some crime is what we got to do. And that's just that. You know what I'm saying? All the new people here, if this is your first time, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that you can be alerted each and every time I decide to go live. And I ain't going to hold you, but I'm a moja, foja, and scold you about being on code. And you know, I got 4 words for you. I need you to subscribe for the vibes, like for the spike, comment your vomit, share if you care about getting Black empowerment everywhere. Please do that on the platforms that we on, Jones. And just to bring it all the way home, I got love, peace, blessings, and aloha. I'm out the Doha for Shoha.